Manufacturers told to push the Buy Local campaign. Hundreds of Barbadians make the March for Jesus. And in sports, a Barbadian leads in the show jumping challenge.
Credible, balanced, committed. This is the CBC Evening News.
A very good evening to you. I'm Sophia Cambridge with this Sunday, June 12th edition of the CBC Evening News. In our top story tonight, manufacturers in Barbados need to do more to encourage people to buy local products. Acting Prime Minister Ronald Jones made the suggestion as he toured BMEX 2011 at the Lloyd Erskine Sandiford Centre. He was accompanied on his walk through the exhibition by newly appointed Minister of Industry and Small Business, Dennis Kelman, and Minister in the Prime Minister's office, Senator Darcy Boyce. Mr. Jones said he was impressed with the products on display and reiterated that manufacturing is one of the planks for restoring the economy.
We know that the state itself cannot be making claims only by Barbadians because of, I think, WTO, but the manufacturers themselves and organizations such as the Barbados Manufacturers Association can keep bombarding the consciousness, and Barbadians would respond. We have seen in the past the support, and I think that Barbadians have a high level of consciousness in supporting their own.
And Mr. Jones said he was impressed with the new products, the innovation and the increase in entrepreneurs at BMEX 2011.
It says that our education system is doing something, it says that our training institutions are in fact doing some things, but we need to see more and more of that inventiveness, of that innovation, of that entrepreneurship, and our state institutions that are involved in education and training to be purposely focused on pushing that science and technology aspect of national development is an area of activity that we have to go forward with vigor and with more profound pursuits.
Well, Buy Bajan cannot be a slogan anymore, but has to become a brand name. So says newly appointed Minister of Industry and Small Business, Dennis Kelman. Speaking during a tour of BMEX 2011, the minister said Barbados could get around world trade regulations if Buy Bajan is made a brand name. Mr. Kelman has also told manufacturers they have to look at both the local and the export market.
We now have to get them to produce the brand name for the export market, but whereas when they're dealing with the local market, they can have their own brands. And if we do that and we get them to recognize that if we decide that we are going with a particular brand because it has certain qualities, then we would expect them for the export market to produce under that brand name with the same recipes, the same qualities, etc., so that we will have the right standards to be able to export the product. But we are not stopping them from having their local share of the market.
Minister Kelman has also been suggesting that Barbados utilize pop star Rihanna to promote its Sea Island cotton product.
Why can't we develop the Sea Island cotton under the Rihanna's name or under the Buy Bajan name and get her to promote it for us? The same way that other people can use their people, we have to recognize that we also have to do it and maximize it. And that is the thinking.
The Barbados Manufacturers Association is reporting an excellent response to BMEX. Executive Director of the BMA, Bobby McKay, says both the buyers and the visitors have been impressed. For the first time, the exhibition has attracted buyers from St. Kitts and Guyana.
I targeted those two places because we understood that they were really asking for Barbadian products. The other islands, they were all represented, St. Lucia all the way up to Jamaica, but we also had US, UK, and Canada, the usual buyers who came in. They all said they saw new products this year. They were impressed with the new products. The person I think who was the most excited was a buyer from Guyana, because he was looking for products for the hotels there, and they're having challenges getting the quality that they need. So I think we can do some good business with him.
Ms. McKay says this year's BMEX is, in her opinion, the best ever.
Before we would have entertainment only in the evenings. They have limes going on all day. They have all the different musicians coming through and having jam sessions, and it really has a pavilion nicely heated up. Yesterday I walked into a jazz session and work was finished. I sat down and that was it for me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. So it's really been a good BMAX. One old lady just stopped me and said to me, the flow is better. She likes the layout of the booths. So we're getting really good reports.
Prime Minister Frundle Stewart has arrived in China for the first time ahead of a hectic one-week official visit. Mr. Stewart is the latest Barbadian head of government to accept an invitation to pay an official visit to the People's Republic of China, noting that he welcomed the opportunity to visit the country that was quietly emerging as the leading economy in the global sphere of activity. Mr. Stewart said he is looking forward to successful talks with the Chinese leadership. During the 6-day visit, he is expected to hold discussions on several areas of mutual interest, particularly alternative and renewable energy, education and infrastructural development, as well as ways to further strengthen Sino-Barbados relations. The Prime Minister is also scheduled to sign 2 bilateral agreements tomorrow with his Chinese counterpart. NIS employees reminded of the crucial role they play. We'll have that story and more when the evening news returns. Employees of the National Insurance Scheme are being told they must put aside their egos when doing their job. The advice is coming from the Executive Director of the St. Vincent and the Grenadines National Insurance Service, Reginald Thomas. He says workers must balance their own interests and that of their organization.
When we get selfish, when we make work to be about us, we question everything. We look at, so why are you talking to me and not talking to Susie? She's doing it too. And when we become very egoistic, then we take positions. And we stand and we digging our heels. And our will becomes that of selfishness. And we question everything.
Mr. Thomas was the featured speaker at the NIS GEM Award ceremony last evening. Several outstanding employees with between 10 and 40 years of service were recognized for their contribution to the scheme. Mr. Thomas says employees at the NIS have to understand that some Barbadians are depending on them and they must be held accountable for their actions.
Somebody must make an assessment of the extent to which the non-payment of a survivor's pension or the non-authorization of a batch of pension checks will impact the accounting performance and the reserve levels of the national insurance. So what's your place? Are you in the position where you can receive?
Hundreds of Barbadians joined with millions of Christians across the globe yesterday in celebrating the Feast of Pentecost with a March for Jesus in the city. An estimated 500 people took part in the march, which started along the Wharf Road, travelling along the Princess Alice Highway and finishing in Independence Square with a 4-hour concert. The march is a celebration of the birthday of the church, which occurs at Pentecost. Students at the Challoner Creative Arts and Training Centre got a special treat recently. They had the opportunity to experience the food preparation process at the Sandy Lane Hotel. The tour formed part of students' research into the hospitality and catering industry in Barbados. Food preparation instructor at the Challoner School, Juliet Cumberbatch, said the aim of the program is to find jobs for students in the hotel industry.
What we are trying to do is get the disabled community out there in the main community, and what we want to do is have them working. If we can by today create interest by Sandy Lane to get any of them in here to work, then we've done our job.
Training and Development Manager with Sandy Lane Hotel, Mary Ruiz, said they've always had an open door policy for hospitality students.
For example, next week we're starting the internship summer program, and we take students from hospitality for 6 weeks and provide them job attachments. So I'm personally in charge of interviewing them, selecting them, so also giving them the opportunity to interview and getting those skills set. So I'm always working with local schools. Chandler is the first time they approached us. It was actually through one of our housekeepers that approached me and told me about them. And so I called Mona Stryker and we started talking and see what we can do. And I'm always available for things like this.
Well, Shane Jones is standing by to give you a report on today's sporting action.
Hi, good evening. I'm Shane Jones with the Sports News. Heather Walker of Barbados leads the Caribbean standings after the Barbados leg of the FEI World Jumping Challenge. Walker won the Category C competition, which ended today at the Whitehall Equestrian Centre. CBC's Marsha Boyce reports on the fourth and final round of the action.
Paige Trehane aboard Montana had already completed her final ride. She suffered 12 penalties. Up next was Franca Costello on Viking Thunder. She started round 4 in 4th position on 16 penalties and would pick up 4 more on her way to completing the course in 76.18 seconds. Alana Wilkie started her ride in 3rd position overall with 12 penalties from the 3 previous rounds. She capped off day 2 with a flawless 4th round performance aboard Bombay to finish in 67.59 seconds. Stacey Phillips, a former champion, was 2nd coming into the final round with 8 penalties on Clover Lucky Chance. But looking to finish strong, she seemed to be pushing a bit too hard in her race against the clock. After a refusal on obstacle 6, she lost her way and would eventually be eliminated for circling on the flat. Then all eyes were on the final rider, Heather Walker on Super Trooper. Walker had already completed 3 clear rounds and was leading the table. Another clear round for her meant that she would not only win the Barbados leg of the competition, but would also move into 1st place in the Caribbean, with legs already completed in Bermuda, Trinidad and Tobago and Jamaica. She executed another flawless ride, making it look effortless, a clear winner after 2 days of competition.
The first 2 courses, we had trot poles in between, so it was kind of iffy. Then these 2 courses were really nice. I liked them a lot. My horse, he has a big open stride and he's very quick over the ground, so that's not my worry.
Marsha Boyce, CBC Sports.
To cricket news now, and the West Indies will try to salvage some pride against the Indians in the 4th Digicel Pearls One Day International tomorrow in Antigua. And they have named an unchanged squad for that match. It reads Darren Sammy captain, Carlton Baugh, Devendra Bishu, Darren Bravo, Kirk Edwards, Danza Hyatt, Anthony Martin, Kyron Pollard, Kemar Roach, Andre Russell, Marlon Samuels, Ravnaresh Sarawan and Lendl Simmons. The Windies go into Game 4 3-0 down, having already lost the series. That match gets underway at 9 a.m. at the Vivian Richards Stadium, and live coverage will be on CBC TV8 as well as Radio 94.7 FM. Locally now, CGI's Sandy Crest Maple is now the sole leader in the Lime BCA Division 1 cricket competition. This after they defeated BNB St. Catherine by 106 runs today at Trent's. Scores in the match: Maple 179 and 228 for 5, St. Catherine 93 and 208. Shane Ramsey took 5 for 81. Over at Lime, Sagicor UWI recorded a victory as well, defeating the home side by 10 wickets. UE 327 for 4 declared and 10 without loss. Lime 137 and 196. Cyprian Payne made 60 and Marquez Clark picked up 4 for 51. Also in winners row was ASA Field Pickwick, who beat Empire by 5 wickets. Scores at Foursquare: Empire 130 and 150, Pickwick 279 for 5. At Paragon, the BDF sports program beat YMPC by 7 wickets. YMPC 146 and 152, BDF 219 for 9 declared and 80 for 3. Drawn games now: Guardian General Barbados Youth 414 for 8 declared and 51 for 3. Banks 385. Carlos Brathwaite made 92 and Sherwin Campbell 62. And in the park, Telebarbados Carlton 271 and 168. Supercenter Spartan 393 for 6. So after the third series of matches, Maple are out front on 44 points, BDF second on 41, UWI third with 34, Pickwick fourth on 33, St. Catherine 5th with 32. Then Spartan in at number 6 on 29. In 7th place is Carlton on 21. Tied 8th, Empire and Barbados Youth with 19 each. 10th, Banks on 16 points. YMPC in 11th on 12. And Lime bringing up the rear with 6. Anderson Trotman rode away with the Barbados Phillies Guineas yesterday at the Garrison Savannah aboard Kendall Moon.
They're racing, and Tiny Tot is off a bit slow as they come off the shooting on to the main course. It is Indian Soul who shows lots of early speed. Sweet Bottom Susie has her running shots on this afternoon. Up close is Cinnamon Jane. On the outside, Never Turn Right. Down the inside, Pre-Race Privet in the Yellow Nose Band is Kendall Moon. Behind Kendall Moon is Victoria Bell. Tiny Tot splits horses. Foxy Bob is 3 wide. Reprise is next. The last one is Fernandina as they round the paddock bend and go towards the 5 furlong marker. It is Indian Soul, length and a half up to Sweet Bottom Susie. Then a break of 3 to Kendall Moon, on the outside Cinnamon Jane. Down the inside is Victoria Bell. Never Turn Right is being asked for more runs, so to Reprise. Tiny Tot and Foxy Baba races appear. Fernandina can still see them all as they go over the hill with just about 3 furlongs to go. And it's Indian Soul in front. By a length and a half to Sweet Bottom Susie. Kendall Moon is being set down for the drive. So too is Cinnamon Jane, and on the inside Victoria Bell. Reprise is also coming into the hunt as they come to the quarter pole. And Kendall Moon has swept by them into the lead. She's in front now by 2. On the inside, going backwards very quickly is Indian Soul. Cinnamon Jane is second. Reprise is coming with a grand run on the outside third. And there are no more turns in the Phillies Guineas, and Kendall Moon is the one to catch. She's in front under a strong right-hand drive. Cinnamon Jane trying to close, so to Reprise. But Kendall Moon is going to leave this field in her wake. What a performance. Simply sensational. Kendall Moon by 4.
The semi-finalists for the Coca-Cola Barbados Secondary School Girls Football League have been decided. Alexandra, Springer Memorial, St. James and Lester Vaughan have made it into the competition's final 4. Lester Vaughan defeated Princess Margaret to advance. Springer and St. James also recorded wins at Bridgefield on Friday. CBC's Marcia Boyce reports on those games.
Springer Memorial in the lighter blue only fielded 9 players for their match against the Allen School. But despite the advantage Allen had in terms of numbers, they weren't able to turn it into goals within the first half of 20 minutes. It was 0-0 at the break. In the second half, Alexis Mears provided Allen with one of their best chances to score, but only found the side netting. Springer's Dominic Brown created problems for the Allen defenders, but was denied on this occasion. Anisha Hoyt would be the one to break the deadlock in the 20th minute. Springer up 1-0. Later in the second half, Springer would be reduced to 8 players as Brown was sent off. They would hold on to win the game 1-0. In the second match, Shanice Gordon showed just why St. James in green and white were favoured to beat Lodge. That was her second goal of the match in less than 10 minutes of play. She almost made it 3-0 just minutes later, but was stopped by Lodge's stand-in keeper Abigail White. Leading 2-0 at half-time, the floodgates opened for St. James. Gordon picked up her third in the 25th minute. Lodge only had 9 players in this game, and before the defence could settle, Crystalline Chandler made it 4-0. Gordon would go on to complete her beaver trick in the 33rd minute. St. James up 5-0. Before the final whistle, Shea Graves would get her name on the score sheet. St. James blanking Lodge 6-0. Marcia Boyce, CBC Sports.
Thank you, Marcia. Well, that's it for sports. Carrie-Ann O'Neill is up next with the weather.
Good evening. After some early morning showers, the day turned out to be mostly sunny and warm. The maximum temperature was 31.8 degrees Celsius, the minimum 25.7 degrees. At 6 o'clock, the temperature stood at 28.6 degrees Celsius, the relative humidity 83%, and the winds coming in from the east-southeast at 15 kilometers per hour. We take a look now at our satellite photo where the high-pressure system was the dominant feature, maintaining sunny and warm conditions for us here in Barbados and most of of the islands of the Eastern Caribbean. We also saw some low-level clouds drifting our way, generating some early morning showers here in Barbados. Meanwhile, the intertropical convergence zone, along with a trough system, generated cloudy skies along with showers and isolated thunderstorms over the Guyanas, Trinidad, Tobago, and also Grenada. Tonight, we are watching two tropical waves to the east of the area. The first one is located at 40 degrees west, south of 10 degrees north. The system is interacting with the intertropical convergence zone, and we are expecting some enhancement. The second one is at 50 degrees west, south of 16 degrees north. This one has no significant showers associated with it. And now for tonight in Barbados, we are expecting mostly fair skies. Come tomorrow, apart from some early morning showers, we are expecting sunny and warm conditions. Over now in the Western Caribbean, a trough system there generated cloudy skies along with showers and isolated thunderstorms over southern Bahamas, Jamaica, Hispaniola as well. As for Puerto Rico, they had some localized showers there. The high-pressure system maintained very sunny and warm conditions over Cuba. And we are expecting similar weather conditions throughout tonight and also tomorrow. We move now to some forecast information. The sun is expected to rise at 5:31 and set at 25 minutes after 6. The first high tide at 5 minutes to 1 in the early morning, the first low at 8 minutes to 8 in the morning. The sea is moderate in open water with swells peaking at 2 meters. The winds coming in from the east to the east-southeast at 15 to 35 kilometers per hour. Barbados tonight will be mostly fair. Come tomorrow, after a few brief early morning showers, it will be mostly sunny and warm. Over the Lesser Antilles tonight, it will be fair to partly cloudy with brief scattered showers. Tomorrow, it will be mostly fair. We leave you now with some forecast weather conditions.